wears a straw hat. In each episode we're gonna recap. It's Sailing All Blue with Xander and Matt. Sailing All Blue with Xander and Matt.
Welcome to Sailing All Blue, the podcast where we are setting sail into the world of One Piece. My name is Xander, and here with me is special episode Matt. And speaking of special episodes, we have a special guest, fellow One Piece podcaster, irresponsible captain Tyler of Piecemeal. How are you both doing today?
Doing just great. We're coming off of recording of another episode. I don't know when this episode is going to drop in real life, but we just finished recording our second Drum Island episode, so that's about as far of One Piece as I know.
That'll place it on the timeline.
So it's always great when we talk about things that happened like years ago, and then the episode releases. That's as far into One Piece as I know. But Tyler, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, and thank you guys for having me. Really appreciate it.
No, it's wonderful to have you here, because I'm very excited to discuss not only what we're covering, which is the Romance Dawn special, episode 907 of the anime, but also comparing it with someone else who has read a lot of One Piece, I assume possibly multiple times. Yeah, a fair bit. And comparing it to the I hate to say the original Romance Dawn,
yeah,
because it isn't.
Right. This is the second of three.
This is the second of three. This is Alpha Piece or Beta Piece.
Beta Piece.
This is Beta Piece.
We've embarked on Beta Piece.
0.6 piece. Not ready to push to production.
Yes, and before we truly begin, I do want to ask Tyler one question.
Yeah.
Since we just got to a good chunk into Drum Island, have you heard people when they refer to Tony Chopper,
mm-hmm.
they say the name like Tony Chopper? Have you experienced this?
Do you mean in real life? Or
yes.
Like talking to other people familiar with One Piece?
Yeah. Sure.
or just like firemen that I've run into or something.
Just like out in the wild. Because I've heard it from like conventions and through other people who watched One Piece.
Usually anime conventions.
And I've done it to Matt. And our friends have done it to Matt before he's ever started reading One Piece.
That's fascinating because I feel like the first place I heard it was your show. And so, I do enjoy it.
Yeah, because my question that was going to be was, where did that originate from? Because I have no idea.
Maybe it's just our local anime convention scene, and maybe. But no, the people I heard it from aren't local. The people I first heard it from are from like all over, so I don't know. It's a weird thing, and I kind of am curious because
maybe it's from a film that I haven't seen, because I haven't seen all of the movies, but because I typically just stick to the manga myself.
Yeah,
I'm afraid it might, I think it's just a way of it just built up, because in the anime, Tony Chopper is said pretty seriously during Drum Island once, but not to the extent of Tony.
Yeah,
and I'm just wondering if it just grew.
Sure. And then going forward from Drum Island, it's very rare that you hear his full name. People typically just say Chopper from then on,
which is a shame. I wouldn't mind just constantly seeing Tony Chopper written every single time.
It would be great. But yeah, it sounds like it's something that it sounds like it has to be a way it's said in the anime. But both of you seem to read more than watch, so the question eludes us.
Yeah,
eludes us. Maybe a future guest will know.
This is your hunt for the One Piece now.
Our One Piece is, where did Tony Chopper originate?
And maybe someone will tweet it at us in a year when that episode finally drops.
Right.
Oh man.
But anyway, speaking of episodes dropping, do you mind explaining to our listeners a little bit about your show?
Sure. I also do a One Piece podcast, which is called Piecemeal, which is myself and a number of friends who I have convinced to also read the entirety of this manga with me. And we do it one volume at a time. Every week we release another. It's kind of like a book club setup where we read the volume. We do a quick. It's most of the episode. We do a synopsis of the volume, and we share our thoughts and feelings on it as we go, and also how One Piece makes us feel as people. Just the deeper themes and also narrative structure that is applied to the story.
Ah, that's so good. Matt, we need to implement how One Piece makes us feel.
Well, so I was thinking about this because we have similar shows, but they are very different at the same time. Piecemeal, because I sort of steer it as the person who has read One Piece numerous times over the years and have kind of roped other people in along with me. Piecemeal is kind of like a guided tour where I tell people where to watch their step and stuff like that. And Sailing All Blue, from what I have heard, is, Xander, you have kind of pushed Matt into the deep end and are just recording the results from there.
Pretty much. It is Matt's journey through One Piece is essentially our
it throws
podcast.
Me a life preserver every once in a while.
Just to keep you afloat. Yeah,
just to keep me afloat. But sometimes it's like being a devil fruit user in the middle of the ocean. So I guess going on to the meat of this episode is we're doing the second of the Romance Dawn specials. Mm-hmm. I guess there's a first one. I don't know. Is the other one before or after this one?
It is technically before. It was an OVA from a number of years ago.
Yeah, that one was released in 2017 or 2018. It wasn't released too long before 907, which was like 2019. Oh, that means Wano's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, Wano in the manga started in 2018.
Oh, we have a great Wano question from our Drum Island episode too, about Chopper and the Sakura flowers.
Mm.
Oh, we'll have to get to that on an actual when we actually get to Wano in like 8 years.
Yeah, write it down because you will forget.
I forgot. I straight up forgot until like we were talking about it earlier today in episode 21. I was like, oh man, I'm currently rereading through Wano. I need to now pay attention about cherry blossoms.
Yeah, man, like this series, every episode that I'm editing after we record, I think of like 7 other things that I should have brought up for future events and stuff like that. Just things to keep in mind. There's so much of it.
Well, I know
There's
Xander,
so
you
much
said you've come up with some like Usopp theory now that you can't tell me. You can probably tell Tyler, and I could close my ears.
Nah, I might like. Who knows? At some point, I know I get to be on a future episode of yours, volume 46, when you cover that, which I'm very excited for. It's an introduce of one of my favorite characters. Or one of my favorite Straw Hats, I should say. I have different lists. I have my favorite Straw Hats, favorite characters, and favorite villains. Because there's too many characters of One Piece to just be like, this is my favorite. Too many. But yes, let's jump into the meat of this episode. Romance Dawn.
All right, so I guess I'll do the typical explain it badly. While now I have 2 people to kind of help steer me for anything I forget. Xander and I watched it this morning, so we're going off of mostly memory at this point. So it's like this alternate start of One Piece, and it starts really similar to how the Romance Dawn arc starts in the manga, where Luffy's kind of on this dinghy. He's going along.
Well, no, that's the start of the anime when he's in a barrel. Remember, the start of Romance Dawn in the manga, Matt, is he's not on a dinghy. He's on his home island as a child,
stabbing himself in the face.
Oh
yeah. Well, yeah. I keep thinking of Alvida. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's still, and this to me has a lot of parallels with the Alvida beginning as well. Both chapter 2 and episode 1. For anime, that swap's always kind of messing with my mind.
Yeah, this is more reminiscence the chapter 2 of One Piece.
Yeah, it has a lot of parallels between the two. So Luffy's in this dinghy, and we have this weird panda bird thing flying over, and Luffy's just chilling when the panda bird gets shot and it falls, and its beak pierces his dinghy. So Luffy's just kind of sitting it there trying not to sink. When this big ship comes up and goes, "Hey, you want to give us that bird?" So Luffy gets hauled up by this really weird pirate crew, and they've kidnapped this girl with blue hair.
Blue hair Nami. Anne. Her name's Anne.
Anne. Yeah, her name's Anne, and she's definitely not Vivi or Nami.
Definitely neither.
Definitely neither, but yet also
original
both.
Character do not steal.
This is my original OC.
Oh god, she is so much of like a fanfic OC, even though it's real fic. I keep thinking of like also Karoo.
Okay.
Oh, is he J.K. Rowling now?
Yeah. There's a sorcerer, so yes.
Yeah. There's wizards. This is Harry Potter, right?
Basically.
Gross.
Yeah, this is everyone's Harry Potter One Piece crossover fanfic
that we've all been dying for.
I hate this. Can we see her back? Let's get back on sale, please.
Yeah, we'll get back on sale. We'll get back sailing ahead. Okay, so the captain of this pirate ship is Six Hone Spiel, and he's the one who shot the balloon, the weird monster bird, and
the
he is
the bird's called a Kuru.
A Kuru, yeah. Definitely not to be confused with Karoo, Vivi's bird.
Original character do not steal.
But we're pirates. We steal everything.
Oh, that's a good point.
No. See, we want to be peace mains.
Yeah.
We don't want to be the
Morganeers.
The Morganeers.
Which we'll get to in like 5 minutes of explaining badly. So we have Six Hone Spiels, and very similar to the whole Alvida thing, Luffy says, "Oh wow, you look weird," because Six Hone Spiels looks like a Crocker from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Oh my god, he does! He does look like Crocker! Holy shit! Just a very colorful one, though.
Yeah,
with a whole bunch of like rainbow colors.
And each of them a different color. And he's apparently a powerful sorcerer, but also a pirate. And he wears shorts, so I guess he's like super confident. Like his whole outfit
it's hot on the open
seas. Self-confident.
Very much so.
And he carries around this like big broom and everything. So because he's been insulted, he throws Luffy and Anne into the brig, and Anne gives the whole backstory of how Balloon is her best friend, but because he's the monster bird, his blood is like magic or something. People want it, so that's why the pirates all want it. And then we go into Luffy's alternate backstory, where instead of the original backstory with like Shanks and the red hair pirates, we have this buff old dude who's Luffy's grandpa who wears a straw hat.
What a great design for this dude.
What a wonderful design.
I know he looks like another character. It's
I mean, yeah, just looks like.
I'm fairly confident, Xander, that your brother told me about some conspiracy theory that character's related to Luffy somehow.
Yeah,
but anyway.
We talked earlier, Tyler, at the end of the recent episode where Matt was like, "Isn't that like Dragon?" Which in Drum Island we actually get Dragon's face reveal.
That's true.
Fun fact. Which I was like, oh shoot, because I didn't think we got the face reveal till much later. But,
just a photograph of him, right?
Yeah.
But
the Dragon is the theory is some like really weird thing involving like Dragon, this other character, and Luffy, and like relationships. But anyway, Xander told me I'm all wrong, so you can listen to that in that episode.
I can't wait.
Yeah, but I guess this is some famous character that he totally looks like. And
it might be a reused design, yeah.
Yeah. So we get this explanation that there are two kinds of pirates. There are the player killers are PKs and the player killers are PKKs. Oh, sorry, that's dot hack. There's the peace mains, which fight Morganeers, who are your traditional bad pirates. So peace mains rob Morganeers.
Yeah, they just love adventure and fucking with Morganeers.
Yeah. We're adventurers and also fuck Morganeers. And apparently that's
true
profitable.
with One Piece still.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that a concept that did make it into original One Piece? I feel like I've heard you talk about it before.
In spirit, not by names, but in the way like the pirates act, right? Like Luffy and his crew very much act like peace mains, and like Buggy is like a Morganeer.
They still represent that spirit, but they're allowed a little more sort of moral grayness than this good guy versus bad guy setup. Very like stark rules that he gives us in the beginning here.
Yeah, it's definitely moral gray because Luffy's grandpa comes back with like this massive trove of treasure from some island, and he's bragging that he's taking this one thing as his cut of the treasure, and it's the gum gum fruit, this diabolical fruit,
diabolical fruits, which I don't like the name. I much prefer devil fruit. Diabolical fruit just sounds. I don't know if it's because I'm so used to devil fruit, but it doesn't roll off the tongue.
You could say it's a mouthful.
Like Kirby mouthful mode.
Yeah, so Luffy is doing this whole was doing this whole posturing that like he doesn't care about going off to the sea. But then he looks at the fruit and he takes a bite out of it. And his grandpa's like, "No, Luffy, what have you done? Now you can never swim." Luffy's like, "No." Luffy's like, "It doesn't matter. I didn't want to go to sea anyway." Except then he starts crying because, no, I was lying.
I did.
I did. I didn't, but I didn't realize it until I couldn't.
Yeah, that's kind of very little kid logic, I guess.
It's 100% little kid logic, and it's kind of like a cool, like a fairly good take on like how people really think. Like, it's a good assessment of people's psychology.
Yeah. Which
I wasn't expecting something like, if this is supposed to be Oda's early work, not pleasant surprise.
Agreed.
Now that we're all in agreement, so we cut back to now Luffy and Ann are still in the cell, and all of a sudden Luffy's got the door unlocked somehow. And Ann's like, "How'd you do that?" He's like, "The key was over there." It's like, "Yeah, but the key was over there on the other side of the bars, on the other side of the hall." And he's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it." So they come up and Luffy's basically robbing the ship. He's pulling like a whole Nami, taking a bunch of food and throwing it in a lifeboat. Meanwhile, Ann is up top sword fighting in a rare show from Oda, allowing girls to be sword fighters.
Yeah, it's fascinating seeing all of the early ideas of One Piece kind of just all hodgepodge together in this single chapter/episode. Like seeing that Ann is Nami, Vivi, and Kuina all in one.
Yeah. Who's the girl that isn't Kuina but that works for Smoker? Ashigi, yeah. Like more like Vivi, Nami, and Ashigi.
Mm-hmm.
All together. And I mean, the sword fight's pretty cool. She basically Hones says, "If you can beat my guys, then you can take your bird." And she beats the guy, and then he drops the dude overboard and is like, "Okay, no, not a man of my word."
Have we established that he just uses magic also? Like he doesn't have a special
telekinetically,
fruit power. He's just a magician. He's just a wizard.
Straight sorcerer, just pink telekinetic magic yeets the dude over the.
Are we sure it's not like a devil fruit though?
What's that?
It could be. It could be like a weird paramecia.
Well, because he does this telekinesis, but then he can also manifest weapons later. So it's kind of an all-purpose power that he's using.
Does he manifest weapons? I thought he just like pulls weapons from like random parts of the ship.
Could be. Maybe I misinterpreted that.
Yeah, no, he has one gun out, and then he reaches in and he pulls out another gun from his pocket. He doesn't even telekinetically grab it.
Yeah, why have the power? Like, why reload a gun when you can just have multiple guns in your coat? Reloading takes time.
He shoots both guns at Luffy, who has shown up because you're supposed to obey your word. That wasn't cool. And we see, and it's like, oh no, Luffy's been shot. Boing, bullets go back. In typical One Piece fashion, and I'm a rubber man. And this is where, if we weren't afraid of getting like a DMCA strike, we'd play Rubber Band Man. Seeing that he's in trouble, Hones takes Balloon captive, hops on his broom, and starts to fly off. And he does like this big telekinetic slash, cutting the ship in half. So that may be what you're thinking of, because he slices that thing in half.
I thought he started to like manifest a hammer or something.
Maybe he did. Maybe
I vaguely remember him calling out hammer and then doing his magic, but I don't remember what happened after that.
Yeah, like, oh yeah,
so
that's
maybe
right.
It was just an
I think it's just more
name.
like an Usopp thing.
Yeah.
Because when we were watching, I was like, fuck, that's Usopp just pulling out a hammer out of really nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he straight manifests a hammer. Like, it comes out as like pink smoke, and it solidifies as a hammer. Yeah, he has incredibly vaguely defined magic powers.
Yeah, and now he is flying, so he just does whatever he needs to do.
Yeah.
So in Beta Piece, we have diabolical fruits and just straight up sorcery. Hold on. Does that mean that regular One Piece, that current One Piece, is magic a thing? Like, will we see magic?
We've seen
probably
hypnotism.
not, but we have seen hypnotism with the Django, our favorite boy.
And
Dr. Kureha was referred to as a witch, but
true.
She wasn't one.
And Golden Week to an extent.
Yeah. Also, we actually mentioned this. My only experience so far with Golden Week is Little Garden.
Yeah.
And there was no explanation for her power in Little Garden, whether
Not
it was
a
a
bit.
devil fruit or not. And I have to believe it's just she's very good with colors.
Yeah. As far as I understand it, that's the case.
I think it's a devil fruit, like the what was it in? Shit, I can't talk about it. But the similar power in Dressrosa. That's what I was thinking.
I think in an SBS, I think that he clarifies. No, it is just hypnotism. She's just really good with paint.
Wait, yeah, so I skip and I do not go to any of the SBSs out of just pure spite, because I feel like Oda will just lie to me.
Sure.
And I feel like Oda has lied to all of us multiple times.
It's 50% lies, 40% horny, and then 10% like nuggets of truth.
I'm sorry, 10% horny? Or
40% horny.
Yeah, dude. Oda is horny on Maine.
Oh, damn.
He gets a lot of questions about his female characters, and kind of it goes back and forth between whether or not he encourages that kind of behavior.
I mean, there is the whole joke of like, look at the female characters over the course of an arc.
Yeah.
And their art. Yeah. I'm aware of that joke. But yeah, so that is an interesting question though, if magic is just in the One Piece world still, and it's just
taking the form of hypnotism.
I don't know. I don't know very much about hockey. I know it exists. Does that not count?
You could call it magic from a glance.
Yeah, it's sorcery adjacent.
Certainly from like a reality perspective.
I mean, from a reality perspective, what are devil fruits?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have, speaking of devil fruits, Luffy can't swim. So with the ship sinking, he just falls like a rock in the water, and Anne rescues him, pulls him out. He was almost a goner. He wraps himself around the main post. Also, during this time, they're like standing on like a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, with no problem. I mean, you got to learn how to balance on a ship really well.
And like the ship doesn't
those
move.
45 leans.
Yeah.
Remember, we haven't gotten to our bony boy who knows about 45-degree angles.
That's true. I believe that's called sea legs.
Oh man, I can't wait for us to get there. I can't wait.
I don't know if I hate or love the fact that you two just made some joke and it just went way over my head.
I mean, technically, we met him in this episode.
Wait. No, you're lying to me. Did we?
His voice actor.
Okay. Oh, I was like, oh shit, was his old self like in the background? You had me for a second. God damn it.
No, in this episode, they reuse like voice actors from the actual series. So Anne is played by Nami, obviously. Luffy is still Luffy, but a character you haven't met yet, it plays the villain, which was fascinating to hear.
That's why I like Spiel.
Yeah, he sounds very familiar.
Is it Brooke?
No. Stay tuned.
That was my guess. Because you said Pony
you're not
Boy.
Wrong, but I'm not going to confirm it.
You said Pony Boy, and I have so many gifs of him smoking. So
he's so good.
You know, it's just the kind of One Piece you pick up through osmosis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just being on the internet.
Yeah, just being on the internet. You see things like that. You see things like redacted, and you see. And you just hear things. Anyway, so despite people standing on weird angles and like the art taking a weird low budget for a second, Luffy wraps himself around the main mast and launches himself off after Hones, who I guess flies at like the speed of smell because he has not gotten very far.
No, he's still within leaping range apparently.
Yeah, I guess it hadn't come back to him in initiative order.
Well, he can only go as fast as Balloon can fly
because he's dragging it with a leash now.
Luffy lands on Balloon on the leash, and Hones looks over and he is shocked. Let's see, is this the part where he touches the hat?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is where he touches the hat. So it's like, how the hell did you get here? And he's like, I just got here. And Hones tries to touch Luffy's straw hat. This is a no-no. Also, something is that you can't see Luffy's right arm during most of it.
So
and that's
good.
It's very much like Buggy's intro.
Yeah.
Where like you can't the pieces they do a really good job of hiding it off screen, but if you know to look for it, you can tell. And because Luffy's charging up like a gum pistol the whole time, and he's like, "You're gonna really hurt when my arm gets here." Bam.
It was so good. He like Spiel is most likely just dead.
Yeah,
he had to just die from that.
And then so Luffy's falling because he's like knocked off and all that, but Balloon rescues him, carries him in the mouth again, like an early One Piece callback to the bird.
Right, like why is that the image that he had in his head so early on that he needed to use in the manga?
It's because it's so funny. It's so
very
good.
funny, but it's fascinating to see like, oh, he really liked this joke. So much so that he had to put it in his manga after doing this one shot.
I guess it's because like rubber, worm, bird. Like if you do like a dream board, I guess.
Sure.
So Luffy comes back. We have a flashback to his dad, his grandpa giving him the straw hat. And then Anne flies away on Balloon, and Luffy goes off on the boat, on the little dinghy, and he has bone with meat, or meat with bone, in the back of the boat. We wanted to really point that out. The recurring One Piece meat with bone, best side character, I guess.
Anime meat,
and it's interesting how they go their separate ways. They don't join up. There's no overarching get to the next thing. No hints towards any of that.
Yeah.
The most vague thing we have is that Luffy wants to brave the sea anyway, and some vague thing about peace mains and Morgan ears. And that's the episode.
Man, what a good one shot. I'm glad it wasn't the start of One Piece.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, it's really cool, but it doesn't have much outside of the clear one shot. There's no like lingering hook or like cool ambition, right? Because at the end of I'm just going to call it original Romance Dawn, we get to see not only Shanks like lose an arm, but like it cuts to years in the future where Luffy's like, I'm setting sail, starting his adventure that got nicely set up, because we also had a quicker reveal of what the gum fruit was, which I think was a way funnier reveal than oh look, he gets shot in rubber. It's like, this is like, he's like, I'm going to walk away, and his arm's getting stretched. Like, I think that was way better. At least of a reveal.
I did like in this, though, that it is kind of hidden at first, like with that how did he get the key scene.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of a nice touch, but I do agree that it's better to just have that sight gag of him walking away and his arm stretching.
We also, at the beginning of chapter 1, had the whole, like, Goldie Roger One Piece thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no Gold Roger in this at all.
There is no Gold Roger.
There's no One Piece.
Yeah, that's the thing. What is, so this was called One Piece. Like, One Piece, it was Romance Dawn.
Yeah.
Like, where's the One Piece? Where does that come into this version?
Right.
Is it just like literally like for the Peace Mains, like there's only one piece, like the king of the Peace Mains?
Maybe it was going to be the MacGuffin later. Or maybe it was just the idea at this phase was only pirate manga.
That's the interesting thing, is the way that chapter 1 ends and like chapter 2 begins anyway, is Luffy setting his goal, which is, I'm going to go out, I'm going to get 10 crew members, I'm going to be king of the pirates. And in this, he doesn't, like we said, team up with Anne. They go their separate ways because his goal is to go meet a crew and just join them, like an already established crew, the Peace Mains, which is a weird approach, and I'm glad that he didn't go with it.
I am very glad. I'm glad this wasn't I don't know if One Piece would have lasted if this was how it started, because I don't even know where it could have really gone. But I mean, I've been watching One Piece since the 4Kids dub as a child, so a lot of like what One Piece has been very much solidified with me, and I can't imagine it being any different.
This version is an odd duck in general, because the very first one that was the OVA before is much more similar to how One Piece actually starts. And then this one is like the weird, like he decided he wanted to try something different, I guess, and then went back to his original plan after that, because this one deviates much more than that first version of Romance Dawn does.
Having not seen the first version, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
But it is very interesting how there's so many parallels and yet it's so different.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how many of those parallels are present in the other one. So especially because a lot of the parallels in this are very specific gags.
Yeah.
The you're weird versus the you're fat type of thing.
And also the weird, the funny face as opposed to the funny nose with Buggy.
Yeah, I don't know how many of those are in the other one, or how much of the other one is the more concrete plot similarities.
So I was thinking that the other one shot, which Matt we'll watch at some point in the future, so you can kind of get a better idea of what I'm about to mention. But Tyler's very much aware that like the original one shot of One Piece is definitely more akin to chapter 2 of One Piece, where we have the goal of like going to do a cool thing to get a crew, and I'm kind of blanking, but I don't know if blonde hair Vivi and the special joins
Silk.
or teams up. Silk.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a cool name.
Original character do not steal.
Yeah.
Original character do not steal. Like, does Silk join Luffy?
I don't remember. I think it is more of a Nami team up situation. Like, what I remember of it is that one is very much like a condensed Buggy arc in one chapter, where Luffy arrives in this town that's being ransacked and Silk is already there and is trying to fend off these pirates. I think that one still includes Gold Roger at the very beginning. So it's weird that he's dropped from this one.
It is.
And I wonder,
weird.
and again, it's did he have that idea for this one to continue the Gold Roger thing with if this had been One Piece?
I would imagine it would have been brought up later, because he posted. He published the first one shot with Shonen Jump, and they just didn't pick it up for a series, right?
Yeah, right.
So he's like, okay, I need to do something different.
Refine the idea, yeah.
Yeah, and he did something different. Didn't work, and he's like, okay, And probably the feedback he got was that the first one shot was closer to what Shonen was wanting, but he needed to refine it, not make it like different.
Yeah,
and then he polished it, he refined it, gave us a origin story right off the bat, rather than starting us off with like cool shonen adventure. we got something different, especially back in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just jumping in straight like let's go beat up the dude of the week, it was just a bit of a slice of life start, still with like a cool villain, the Mountain Bandits. We got the really cool character Shanks that like kind of embedded the idea of like, hey, these Mountain Bandits, like, yeah, they could pour drinks on me or whatever, like that doesn't matter. But whenever it comes to friends and harming the people you care about, that's when you don't laugh it off. That's when you actually, make a move. You do something. You take action. That's when you get mad, which carries through the rest of One Piece. It's one of my favorite. I love the power of friendship.
Sure.
And that like spirit of
you
One
watch
Piece.
Anime, don't you?
I love. Yeah.
Well, doesn't Shonen Jump specifically have like a trio of ideals that they look for? It's like friendship. It's like friendship, effort, victory is like the three things that
makes sense.
that the shonens are supposed to have, and that's like a key thing throughout all of them. I'd read that recently with regards to also like why certain things survive, why certain things get axed. But it's also very interesting how you talked about how One Piece got refined to then start at the beginning rather than in media res, since the anime then started in media res.
What a confusing decision.
Well, I think when it comes to an anime to get people hooked, I think the anime started off really nice.
Yeah.
Because we get the funny gag of like Luffy breaking out of the barrel, which is it's such an iconic image that like I can't not see a big wooden barrel now in the world without being like, I wonder if someone's in there.
Luffy's in there waiting to fucking bust out.
And then like, what is it? Episode 2 or 3 is when we get like chapter 1, right? We get Romance Dawn. We get the flashback.
I think it's episode 4. It's a while before we actually meet Shanks in the anime.
What did they do for 2 episodes?
It was Zoro. The introduction of Zoro. We get Zoro's backstory before we get Luffy's in the anime.
Oh, that's right, because that whole thing was only like 2 episodes. It was real short. It was real quick.
Yeah.
And Tyler, so Matt brought this up as we've been recording, and this was brought up in the Buggy arc and with Zoro, is Oda and dogs. Like, does Oda not like dogs? Because it never hit me until like Matt mentioned it that like Oda just does really mean like dogs get kind of beat up in One Piece.
He's kind of just mean to animals.
He
likes to draw cute animals and then be mean to them.
Oh, especially
it's a
with
good
Chopper.
way to get sympathy from your reader, I guess. It works.
It works. That's how you know, like, oh, the villain, he kicks puppies. Yep, that's the bad guy.
Get his ass.
Yeah.
Oh man, Lionel Richie is hurting a dog. Get him.
The best. I'm so glad he ended up being recurring, so that joke could keep recurring too.
It's so great. Lionel Richie,
the best investment payoff.
the funniest joke I think I've heard from anybody, and I'm glad it came from you, Matt. But I love Richie. Richie's great. He becomes captain of the Buggy Pirates for a time.
Yeah, he does.
And he comes back like way later on. We get to see him again.
Yeah, the last time we've seen him, the last time I've seen him is Rogue Town, and apparently anyone who I saw in Rogue Town, I should not be attached to seeing them anytime soon.
Not anytime soon, but you'll meet again.
Yeah. You'll meet again. And there's some. Oh man, I can't wait to point out certain silhouettes from those chapters when they become relevant
crew and stuff.
Oh yeah, sure, that and like others. Well, you'll see. We'll get there. We'll get in like 900 chapters, probably. Man, it still boggles my brain how far like certain characters are. Like Frankie and Brooke are like hundreds of chapters away.
I was surprised that it took us this long to get to Chopper. I just had this idea of so much of the crew happening earlier, but that was like I think originally for me what was so hard with One Piece was it felt like we were spending so much time setting up to the crew, but really it's that just the feedback cycle is new crew member, new crew member, and that's fine. And maybe that's also why the fact that they don't link up, like he doesn't get a crew member out of this Romance Dawn special, is part of the problem is because you don't have the friendship aspect.
Yeah, it feels so strange and alien.
Yeah,
for One Piece,
Luffy's way too much of a lone wolf in this one, and because he's as much as he goes off on his own solo in One Piece, he always is about his friends and always is about protecting them.
Yeah, and as Luffy says in to Arlong at Arlong Park, where he makes the beautiful speech where he's like, he can't cook, he can't navigate. He can't use a sword. He can't lie. And I love it.
He needs lots of people to get by in life.
But like Luffy's like he is aware that he can't do things, which is why he relies on his friends, right? The power of friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And then like my favorite part is like I love Arlong Park so much. It is my favorite arc. It is absolutely my favorite arc even to this day. Like no arc has topped Arlong Park for me.
It's very close.
So should I just stop reading then?
No. Everything it's like I just really like Arlong Park.
Yeah, it's like a crystalline arc where it's just it's beautiful to look at every time you come back to it.
It makes me cry every single time. Like Nami's backstory without fail will always tear me up.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Naruto, so like the Sasuke retrieval arc is just a really good crystallized arc.
Yeah,
but it's also I wouldn't say it's the best arc in Naruto. But it is definitely like that is what Naruto is that arc.
Cool. Never watched it.
Tyler, have you done any of the Narutos? I'm
sorry to inform you, Matt. I didn't make it past the Chunin exam.
Same.
That's to be fair. That's the Chunin exam. I also think is a lot of people like the Chunin exam. To me, it's like Syrup Village. It takes a bit. You know what? It's probably comparable with Barati. It's just that Mihawk doesn't show up. The Mihawk equivalent isn't until like 3/4.
There's no interruption in it.
Well, it's just that it goes on for. Imagine if the Iron Body thing is like most of it,
right?
And that's the Chunin exam. I will also say it's interesting. Naruto starts off the same way One Piece does.
Yeah.
Where you have the story of the Kyuubi. And then, but that one then kind of goes to a more in media res type start, where it starts out with Naruto already, like just doing havoc, that kind of stuff. Like it's still him being in town, but Naruto is always he's always based in the town.
Mm-hmm.
So I just found that a very interesting comparison as well. How similar those starts are, but also they kind of Naruto came after, so it's definitely it's definitely informed by its predecessors, and it kind of feels like that's an influence of One Piece on it. And again, that's something that's so key to One Piece, because I mean the anime always started with the whole Gold Roger thing getting recapped.
Yeah,
that's part of the opening.
Yeah, just in the opening, gotta go.
The best OP, the
best.
I will fight anyone who says otherwise.
I mean, the German Naruto opening does have some words with you, but yeah. Which if you haven't heard
for One Piece. I meant for One Piece. The best Naruto opening is the German opening.
Speaking of Germany, if you haven't heard the first One Piece German opening, please take a gander at that, because it is phenomenal as well.
Hold on, let's do that right now.
What is
It's called The Legend.
Listeners will be back in just 1 minute and 51 seconds. In this time, feel free to pause the episode, go listen to the One Piece German Dutch opening.
The Legend.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. Oh, it's so good. I feel like with its tone and pacing, if you just replace One Piece with Sonic X, it could probably work.
I believe that's true of a lot of anime openings, though.
Probably, but how many? Do y'all remember the Sonic X opening?
I remember the Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom.
That's Sonic CD.
Oh no! Oh yeah! Gotta go fast. Gotta go super.
Gotta
Sonic.
go faster, faster. Sonic. Yeah. Oh man, Saturday morning cartoons. What a blast!
All right, so that was our Sonic fan cast.
We had our Naruto fan cast. We had Fighting All Ninjas. We had our
Fighting All Ninjas.
Speeding All Sonics.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
I have a half-remembered piece of trivia for this version of Romance Dawn.
Yes.
And specifically the one-shot version of it that was like in Shonen Jump. And I think this also comes from an SBS that somebody asked Oda about this, like why include this grandpa character here? Because I think there is, if it's not Shanks, it's someone who is basically Shanks in the very, very first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then he switches to grandpa in this one, and then back to Shanks in the actual first chapter. And I think he's, if I'm remembering right, he said that he wanted to keep Shanks a secret because he knew that this wouldn't be like the actual first chapter of the manga, and that he was going to have to refine it again. So he didn't want to play all of his cards in this version just in case.
Which was probably the best call Oda's made.
That's also weird to be like, I submitted something I knew would be rejected.
Right.
And also kind of maybe explain some of the wackiness.
He's just like, you know what? Let's just see how far we can
I've
go.
got a six pig-tailed man who wears shorts. We constantly focus on how hairy his legs are, and he just does pink magic.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, now that you're saying that, that makes a lot of sense. If that first version, if I'm remembering it right, is so similar to how it does end up, if he got notes on it, sent this version back knowing that they would hate it, and then just redid the one that he actually wanted to do. And they're like,
we kind of want you to do something different. And he's like, okay.
That is pro strats right there.
Oda is oddly a genius because he's been at this for years.
He was an assistant on Rurouni Kenshin while he was submitting all the One Piece stuff?
Yes.
He did a number of one-shots also that are collected in a book called Wanted now, before One Piece. And I think this version of Romance Dawn is in that collection also.
Mm-hmm. I think both versions are as well. Oh. I think both are. But the some of the one shots in Wanted has some really cool stuff because
one of them is canonical to One Piece.
It is canonical to One Piece. There's a canonical character that gets referenced, and I don't know if they show up in 46 or not in volume 46. I think it might be the next volume.
Yeah, you might not be lucky on that one. Sorry.
Oh, darn. Oh, well. But at least you get to discuss it. But granted, I will eventually. I'll get there. And Matt will have no context. It's always interesting
when authors reference like their own works in other works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how much you've kept up with Fire Force or know that it's by the same author as Soul Eater. We've gotten some very interesting references near the end.
I haven't watched any of it, and now that you say that, maybe I should.
It took me a bit to get into Fire Force. Partially, it's one of those shows where it's like, okay, and then when X character shows up, that's when we start going.
Yeah.
I think it's more just like it sets up an initial premise and then completely abandons it. But to be fair, so did Soul Eater.
Sure.
So it's one of those. I do recommend that. Again, the part of this whole thing is like I somehow have done like everything except One Piece.
Yeah. I mean, it's daunting. I don't blame you. It's much easier to say like, I'll check out this much shorter thing that I can just get done and have an opinion on it.
Oh, this is only 300 chapters? Oh, good. Okay, we'll do that.
Thank God.
Thank God, yeah.
Oh, good. 300 chapters, that's like, what, 12% of One Piece?
I like how every time today we have referenced 300 chapters with regards to One Piece, we have changed the percentage.
Yeah.
Has it been getting lower? Because it should.
Oddly,
every day it gets lower.
Yeah.
If you had a whole One Piece, it wouldn't even fit inside of a One Piece.
Yeah, the fact that people for years have said One Piece has like 1,000 chapters, and now that's not a joke anymore.
Now that's low. Well, it's like the whole South Park had that whole episode. Simpsons did it. And there have been more episodes of South Park since that episode than there were of Simpsons when that episode came out. Yeah,
that's incredible.
I think it might even be a multiple. But I know it's greater than. Because they were complaining like we can't do anything because Simpsons already did everything. And not only have there been more Simpsons and like Family Guy and all the other cartoon sitcoms, but there's also been just that much more South Park. So it's all anything like that where it's oh man, this is so much, but it's something that's ongoing. It's just gonna keep getting worse.
Unlike One Piece, it just gets better
somehow.
I don't know how Oda does it. I'm honestly just like in awe at not only the amount of work Oda does, because like 1,000+ chapters over the course of like weekly for the course of what 20+ years.
Yeah.
Like
since 97 or 96.
Well, here's a question. Has anyone seen Oda swim?
That's a great question.
The right devil fruit?
Maybe.
Do we have any final thoughts?
I've mentioned it a couple times, but I guess my final thought is nice to go back to this and see what was important to him as an author at the time, like what he really wanted his story to be about, because it's kind of muddy in this version, but you can see the beginnings of him questioning what is and is not treasure, which is important to what One Piece eventually becomes as a series.
Yeah, especially with how I think Anne refers to Balloon as her treasure.
Yeah, and his grandpa gives him that speech in the flashback about what like glittering things aren't necessarily treasure. It's the people who are important to you and things like that.
Here's a hat.
Right, here's my hat.
Here's my hat. Man, I love Grandpa. I can't wait to see him in the character design in the future throwing cannonballs. Can't wait for it. So it's so good. It's coming soon too, because that's the next arc we're hitting is Alabasta.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Get excited.
We're almost there. I'm very excited.
You'll finally learn who Crocodile is.
I still laugh so hard that Matt believed Crocodile was in Arlong Park. It cracks me up because, like, man, imagine that. Imagine the villain of Arlong Park was Crocodile.
I mean, to an extent, I get it. And I told this, I'll tell a brief version of it because I told this story on Piecemeal too. But because of the way that I was reading One Piece at the time was monthly in the monthly Shonen Jump that we got in the States. And it was just a slog through the Alabasta arc because they were only including 1 or 2 chapters in the magazine at that point. They had really like cut out how much One Piece content we were getting. So I felt like I was dealing with fucking Crocodile for years of my life. And around the time I was reading Arlong Park, I was starting to look stuff up on the internet about One Piece because I was getting curious about the future of the series. And I saw Crocodile's character design just on an image search. And I thought, oh, this is One Piece's Frieza. Like, this is the big bad of the whole series.
And nope, it's just like another one.
He's just a guy.
He's just a guy.
I mean, he is a big bad guy, but he's just another one along the road.
He's our Croco boy.
Oh, does he not recur?
He does.
Okay. Yeah, see, he kind of shows up here and there, but like he's just a guy. He's kind of like Buggy, you know. He comes back.
Yeah,
but...
I had to threaten some people when we were before Arlong Park. Because again, like I do not read ahead. It's part of it was Xander, as part of his torture of me, wants to make sure I had that same experience that you had, where I have to wait.
Right.
So it is like when I finish, I get to a cliffhanger. I have to wait till next week's.
Till we record next, which can be a week or 2, or sometimes it could be a few months till we record next.
It's a good rule because man, Oda has some cliffhangers.
Yeah, and Xander particularly hand picks the best ones or worst ones. But yeah, that was definitely a big piece of it.
Yeah, which our current assignment ends at chapter 154, which is the chapter after Drum Island, which we get introduced to one of my favorite characters, our favorite swan-looking boy. So I can't wait for Matt to meet him. I'm very excited. I love the character so much.
That's the first clue you've given me about the character, and I'm coming up like blank.
Absolutely, of course, because like I know, like no one really talks about this character yet. They're so cool, but yet people are just like they don't want to like him. It's a great character. Love him to death.
Oh wait, no, I made a guess after the episode, and I think that's close. Never mind.
Yeah, you made a guess, and it was way off the mark.
Yeah, so this conversation is gonna be so confusing to when this drops. We'll have this like between like in the middle of like Arlong Park or something, and people will be like, "Drum Island."
What?
Well, I plan to release this the week before the week after the episode I will be guesting on comes out. That way, they get released roughly same time.
Sure. That makes sense.
It'll be on our off week, Sailing on Blues off week.
Oh, you just get a special ep.
Yeah. Look forward to it, listeners. We hope you all enjoyed it.
Well, I'm flattered that I can break your schedule just by showing up.
No,
it's a bonus present, like this was, like like these specials are.
Yeah.
So yeah, speaking of, why don't you lead us off with your socials, and we'll head to our outro.
Sure. I don't really do too much on Twitter, but I am.
Don't worry, I don't even own a Twitter.
Yeah,
I leave Xander for all that.
I'm so glad Matt does not use social media, or else the spoilers for One Piece would be very hard. Worse. It would be very difficult.
It's great. I get to tell everyone to @Xander whenever we say something stupid.
Yeah.
I have a terrible Twitter handle. It is T_P_Crow. If you want to follow that, or you can just follow my podcast at Mealpiece on Twitter, or listen to Piecemeal Podcast wherever you find podcasts.
Yep, I'll have links and everything to your show and Twitter's in our description, in our podcast description.
Awesome.
Please look forward to Xander being on there, and thank you all for joining us. Xander, take us away.
Yeah, we're leaving the special, so let's set sail to a new special. Thank you all for setting sail with us into the world of One Piece. If you'd like to keep up to date on releases and what the current chapter assignments are, be sure to follow us on Twitter at SailingAllBlue. And we'd like to give special thanks to my good friend Birdie for composing our wonderful, amazing intro. To check out more of Birdie's amazing music, be sure to follow them on Twitter at HeyIt'sBirdie and check out their works on Spotify. I'm a big fan of the album